Hey guys, it's Savannah from Merch.com. I wanted to give you an update on 4 things since I haven't made any videos recently. First off, where I stand with videos and what you can expect from the channel in the future. Secondly, a follow-up on the Oldschool Grand Exchange video where I gave my 7 insights on what will happen once it is released. Thirdly, how things are going on the Oldschool merch logs. And finally, what my merchanting has been like on Oldschool so far, including my profits and my bank on there. So as for the channel, I've been busy catching up with a lot of things in my personal life, but I will be releasing more videos again soon. I've been working on the new merch trailer, and I'd also really like to start up a merchanting series again, but I need to be certain that I will consistently have time to do it, or it just won't be worth it. Last time I had to stop after 3 episodes due to a lack of time, and I really don't want that to happen again. For those who have been subscribed for a long time, you may remember the merchanting class series. It's very outdated now, though the principles in it do still apply, but people kind of like the concept of learning merchanting in a somewhat linear model, so I'd like to look into bringing something similar back in sort of a newer version to make things a lot simpler for people. Right now I do have a bunch of guides, but people aren't really sure where to start, what is right for their level of knowledge, of their expertise. So that needs to be solved and perhaps even dealt with first before I start any series and get a lot of questions. Then secondly, the 7 predictions I made about the Oldschool Grand Exchange. The first was about the fear that public merchanting clans would ruin Oldschool. Now, if you've been at the Grand Exchange, you've definitely seen these spammers telling you to join their Facebook groups, their merchanting clans there for some free starting cash. It gets really boring, and I think you guys are smart enough to understand that these are just scams. Public merchanting clans just aren't going to work like I predicted, and so far really nothing has happened with those. So yeah. Number 2 was about the private buyouts. You likely won't have noticed these, though you might have perhaps seen the blue party ads rise. But other than that, I don't think many of them have been very visible. But regardless, these have been happening, and as predicted, quite successfully. I can't really say much more about these, but yeah, they're going on. Number 3 was about the bulk flipping that was happening on Zybez. The prices of a lot of bulk items have tanked a lot due to the oversupply ending up in the Grand Exchange. So that came true as well, especially the first days after release, prices were going down so hard. And there was really little volume on a lot of items simply because people were busy with the other ones. Number 4 was about bots, and mainly free-to-play ones bringing a lot of supply into the game through the Grand Exchange. So far, this hasn't been noticeable, actually. So I'd say out of the 7, this was the worst prediction. But a lot of players recently did join Oldschool, so perhaps that is sort of evening out the supply. The Oldschool team does do a much better job at banning bots than RuneScape 3, so perhaps they have everything under control, and that would be very good news for all of us. Number 5 is about people getting rid of items, which also definitely came true. It's been super easy to snipe loads of items at very cheap prices, often going as low as a few GP each. I did some tests on treasure trowel items and I think some potions and maybe some other items on some of my other accounts, which were not only very fast, but they also helped me to build up from the 25 GP starting cash on those very easily. I believe some of them have a few mil each now just from these silly flips. But it's been quite fun to do and to experiment with. Then number 6 was about the additional demand from flippers. Upon the Grand Exchange release, a lot of items took quite a big hit, but they started rising in price after that due to a lot of people flipping them, which basically means that the flippers hold part of the stock of an item. If the flippers wouldn't be there, then all of those items would need to be in the hands of actual players, but the flippers kind of hold them too while they are flipping. They pass them on to each other and to players, of course, but they create this extra demand which pushes the price up. Now, right now, a bunch of these items are crashing back down a bit, or might have already rebounded, as they were driven up in price a little bit too much. This usually happens a bit too extreme, but the effect is still there, and the flippers are definitely making a difference in the demand. And finally, number 7, about flipping not being so amazing. I think here it mostly depends on what you've been doing so far and also what your perception of a good flip is, of course. There are a lot of items that have been quite bad, especially in the beginning. The volume was really low, so even if you found a great margin on an item, the chances of getting any stock were very small on most items. This has been improving in overall, but more and more people are getting better at flipping, which will likely make it worse over time. If I look at today, for example, it's the busiest day of the week on RuneScape, and flipping really hasn't been that great compared to the rest of the week. So yeah, and overall I'd say the 7 predictions were pretty decent. What do you guys think? Moving on to the third topic, the old school merch logs. So far not much has been uploaded for the simple reason that flipping is very competitive right now. Everyone is trying to figure out what is best to do, and those who find good stuff obviously aren't going to share it with others now to protect their margins and to protect their items. Still, people have already made some great uploads, and I'm sure we'll see this grow over time. Our developer has recently added almost all of the old school items to our database, but there are still some missing and some bugs to be worked out here and there as well. The Old School Grand Exchange graphs will follow soon once Jagex releases an API. And then finally, how merchanting on Old School has been for me. As you know, I don't disclose what I have or do on RuneScape 3, and I haven't been uploading much to my log for a year now. I think I only went from like 25 to 26 bill over the past year, even though I've been merchanting pretty much daily. And the reason for this is because I give away a lot of advice and ideas to VIPs and also to non-VIPs as it is. So I'd like to keep that last bit to myself so merchanting remains fun and interesting for me too. Things on Old School are very different though. The Old School team itself is much more transparent about everything, and considering my fresh second start on there, I'd like to follow suit. So here's my story in a nutshell. When Old School first came out, I got hooked on clue hunting for the first few months. With my magic shortbow and steel arrows, I went from, I believe, level 50 to 94 ranged at Hellhounds, and I did over 250 hard clues, which you can view in the video series here. I logged it all. That gave me about 42 mil starting cash, which I put into some 3rd age just before release. I sold off this 3rd age helm for 4.5 mil profit, as you can see here on my log. And I tried to flip a bunch more, but it was way too slow. I wasted a fair bit of time messing around with 3rd age as I had higher expectations of it. I expected wealthy people to start buying them up, but that didn't really happen. In hindsight, most people were stuck with crashing items or trying to flip faster things, which meant that 3rd age was the least of their concern for now. So that was a bad call on my part, which cost me a fair bit of potential profit, but so be it. Right now I'm at around 100 mil after 3 weeks. I've got some stuff in investments that I can't show you right now. But yeah, and overall that's not really amazing considering I started from like 42. I know I can do a lot better and I should have more like 300 mil, but like I said, I haven't had much time, busy sorting stuff out in real. And I've also wasted quite a bit of time on 3rd age and on, I believe, spectrals and some other items which haven't worked out for me so far. And I also spent a fair bit of time testing these lower wealth items, of which I uploaded some stuff on my log to give people some ideas. I need to know about these cheaper items too if I want to help people out, and I don't see why I shouldn't be sharing that. And I think that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I won't be disclosing what I'm flipping now as it's going quite well and that would mean the end of it, but perhaps I will in the future. Take care guys, and look out for the new merch trailer coming up soon.